everybody, Uncle Mo Nightshade here, and welcome to another edition of Mo's Mining Musings. Season 2 of Mo's Mining Musings, which means I've been kind of going over last year's videos and really just examining my first year in this game, and really have come to some painful yet obvious observations lately. As y'all know, Mo's Mining Musings started out as a mining show, and did some crafting and then a little bit of hunting. And as y'all can tell from my videos of late, well, it's really become Mo's Hunting Musings. And at first I thought, you know what, I was just going to do hunting just because I want to be able to do everything. And I'd spent the first 6 months of my game time mining. So I'm like, okay, let me pour some more time into the hunting aspect so I can be a well-rounded character. And then I tried to go back recently and realized that mining has unfortunately become a failure system. And I'll outline why. And I've come up with some, I think, pretty great ideas that could probably fix the game. Not only mining, but the entire economy. As you know, Entropia has been messing around with the loot tables, and mining has just been awful. Nobody's really doing it as much. Let's go to the Hoffboard, all right? By the way, grats Lola for the 34K blouse. We haven't seen anything like this in mining in a very long time. As you can see, the Hoffboard used to be at the bottom here. You'd be in the 200, 250 ped range to even get on the Hoffboard. And lately, it's been a consistent 100 ped, sometimes in the 80s. Pathetic. People have really abandoned mining is the only solution to it. Or it's also a representation that MindArk has really changed the loot table. And I know a lot of people were bitching before they had changed it because they're tired of the volatility. So I've come up with some solution, but I want you to track with me through this kind of logical process here. So here's a crafting machine, all right? Everybody's that has crafted even a little bit is fairly familiar with it. If we go to the construct screen, we see we have our success rate, okay? And this is the familiar bar, quantity versus condition, and a little slider. And what is this thing? For those of you that don't know, if you're crafting on this is called full quantity when we're on to the left here. That means that we're going to get a lot of successes, a lot of small successes, okay? It's a more consistent return. Smaller successes more often is what this is in a nutshell. And you're going to end up with more of your product that you're trying to craft and less residue. The opposite is condition, full condition crafting, where you're going to get less successes, but less often successes, but your actual successes will be larger in value. Okay, so people utilize this bar because they want to go for like an all-time high or bigger crafting successes. Now, both of these, no matter where you set this, it's widely agreed that the return rate for crafting is 90% over a long enough period of time, no matter where you set this. So this is really just a K factor for those of you that are familiar with compounding interest. You know, it just depends. I mean, no matter how you play, you're going to get the same return. MindArk makes the same, or they're taking the same chunk. But it just affects how your play style. Do you want consistent returns? Do you want to go for an all-time high? And also what you're crafting makes some bearing on where you should put this. But in a nutshell, it's a play style selector. Okay? Do I want to be conservative over here? Do I want to gamble a little bit? They're both going to return 90% over time. How do you want to play? Now, players, do me a favor and picture this scenario. Let's say we had a release and MindArk told us that the quantity and condition bar here has been removed from the game. All crafting is now set at full quantity, and that's it. Imagine what would happen to the game and its economy. Players would be in an absolute uproar that were doing full condition crafting. All of a sudden, they would say, hey, I have no reason to craft anymore. I'm a full condition crafter. That's my playstyle. I want to go for the full all-time highs. I want to go for the big things. And why are you taking it away? You're forcing me to do this. Imagine the uproar. And for a minute now, let's imagine this. Mindark decided to take away the bar again, and they left it on full condition. Imagine what would happen. Players would pour over the forums complaining, hey, I'm here to be a consistent crafter. I'm making things for a living. I can't be affording to gamble, even though it's the same return over time. I just can't afford to gamble. I'm here to put out a consistent product. So imagine the uproar. Well, if you stop and think about it, players, this is exactly what we're experiencing now. We had mining somewhere over here. Okay? And the value was just set. Marnik said this is where we're setting mining. Okay? It's going to be 90% return, and you're going to have some big ones and some small ones, and that's it. Nobody gets to choose their play style and how they want to do it. That's where it's set. So you got a lot of people on the forums bitching, right? Hey, I'm doing small runs. I don't have a big PED card. I can't be affording 50% TT returns. All right, enough people complained. So what Mindark did, they changed the loot table, and they put it over here now. All right, and they said, all right, players, everybody has to play like this now. So more consistent, but smaller returns. The people like me that had a bigger PED card, that wanted to go for an all-time high, are now screwed. We can't do it. It's a much, much harder now. Okay? And so there's an uproar now. Again, hey, I'm here to go for the larger type returns. I want a little more variance in my play style. So why is Mindark forcing miners to pick one of these? Why would you limit them to one option? You're not going to make, no matter where Mindark sets this bar, it's not going to please the player base. So my solution to this, quite simply, is this. Let's have our mining finders, we'll add a quantity to condition style bar right up here. All right. Let's say I'm a miner that wants to go for the all-time high. I'll move the bar over, and we'll name them something else. All right. Small spectrum and broad spectrum mining, whatever. Name it something like that. Okay. Let's say I want to go after the all-time high. I want the big stuff. I got the PED card. No matter what I pick up here, it'll still be a 90% mining return, just like we're all used to. But I want to go for the bigger stuff, so I'm going to get less fines over here. Imagine the bar, but bigger fines when I find them. Over here will be more fines, but smaller. Okay, and this doesn't affect mining amplifiers at all, which I'm going to talk about in depth next, but you can still amp. And when you're amping, all you're doing is amping the final result, whatever that is. Okay, so we still have a need for mining amps. No, mining amps aren't going to go away. We need them. All right, it's part of the game. It's a driving force in the economy, which brings me to point number 2 that has broken this game. Okay, and that is metal residue. As you know, or you may not know, but people that make mining amplifiers, and I'm just pulling up an order here. It's really gone down. But metal residues definitely come down here, which is it's pleasant to see, but it's been stuck solid at 114%. This is a bit encouraging. All right. So we're starting to see a little bit of a shift, but I'm going to suggest to you that it's not enough. When I was mining, level 5 amplifiers were kind of the bread and butter for me. I could get them at 110%. And knowing that I was only going to get a 90% return, plus I'm paying the extra 10%, I knew that I had to find, at least plus the other expenses. It makes it about, I needed to find ores and net matters that were about 22% markup, 122% or more on average. Okay, that's how you make your money back, right? I've got plenty of videos on that. You remember them; they're still valid. Let's look at a level 5 and see what it's at today. I haven't really looked at this in a while. Now, 109%. As you can see, the price of the level 5 amplifier here, and any amplifier that needs residue to fill it, is going to approach the markup on metal residue. 109%, metal residue was about there as well. When metal residue was at 114, 115%, level 5 amplifiers were 114, 115%. Got it? Are you tracking with me? So the problem is residue. We have specific types of residue: metal residue, there's Entropia residue, there's animal oil residue. Okay, and they can all theoretically be used to fill up certain things that you craft with, but you have to use a specific one. One of the blueprints that has come out that has been popular is Listerium power containers. And the reason it's popular is it takes 40 Listerium ingots. So the idea behind coming out with this blueprint, you can kind of tell it was supposed to be a metal residue generator. But it didn't work. It didn't balance the market out, because this blueprint's been out forever, and the price of residue has been way up. I am curious if the Arcadian amps have had a difference, an effect on the market. Why am I not finding attachments? It's like 4 in the morning, folks, and I'm just a little bit tired mining. It's been so long since I bought a damn mining amp that I forgot where they are on the market. And this is Moe's Mining Musings, if you can believe this. There's definitely an issue with the game. You still got your level 2 low amps. People craft these anyways. They're going for an all-time high, and they never really fill them with residue, which is why they're lower in price. You got your medium amps, level 5s here. They are corresponding with metal residue prices. Level 7 amps and above take a bit higher quality material. They're actually quite down. They're kind of getting reasonable. So that's encouraging. Your higher level amps, your level 8s, and your D class are here. And where'd the D classes go? Interesting. So just a little overview. Level 13s are down. So we've seen a positive trend here, but this still doesn't address the problem overall. Okay, this is the market shifts temporarily in this game. Obviously, some things have happened, and one of those, if we look at refined resources, metal ingots, let's go to Nixarium. Nixarium has been a staple ore and marketing determiner for a long time in this game. It used to sell much better than this. It was used in weapons quite a bit and level 8 amplifiers. And since the advent of the D-class amp and basically eliminating the Apis blueprint, things of that nature, well, they didn't eliminate it. Basically, they changed. That's another bitch, but whole different video. The advanced target assessment units for the Apis blueprint no longer drop. So people with unlimited Apis, and that's a gun. Apis is a gun. People crafted those. It was a staple weapon in this game for a long time. It went away because Mindark decided they would just take out a certain ingredient to the blueprint and say, all right, you can't make that anymore. From now on, we'll drop a limited version of the blueprint, which does not have that ingredient on it, and you can craft it that way. Nixarium was just something excellent to hunt. You know, they even moved it over to Entropia. Used to be exclusively on Calypso, and Never Die, I guess, bitch or whatever. They moved it over there to get some miners over there. You know, nobody really wants to go over there to actually explore and play on the planet. That's another subject too, but you can kind of see what's going on here. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but ore prices have they've come down. The markup has, and it's sad for miners. So I'm going to propose fix number 2. All right, fix number 2 for the game, and that is I want to get to the portion of the market. Ingredients, materials, residue. Okay, here's all your residues. Okay, animal oil residue, very cheap, not used in much. Then you got your antimatter and metal residue and robot that are good, that go into mining amps, and that's why it has value. So here's my proposal to really kind of fix the game, and that is to eliminate all of these types of residue. And from now on, when you're crafting, have every single product create one type of residue, and we're going to call it crafting residue. All right, just residue, no specific type of residue. And you can use this residue for any crafting project you're working on. Now think about the effect that'll have on the game. All of a sudden, the people that aren't crafting, I used to craft just BS stuff, all right? Look at all these blueprints I got, basic sensors, basic wires, things with just basic ingredients here. Those weren't very good examples. Simple 1 conductors, staple blueprint, all right? Takes animal muscle oil, animal eye oil, all right? And look at it. I've got it up to 77.5. I've made a lot of them. But the end product is not worth anything. You're simply crafting it to craft, to gain skill, all right? Imagine if we took all these blueprints, every blueprint in the game now would create one type of residue that was good for all crafting projects. All of a sudden, a lot of players are going to start crafting again. They'll start crafting their kind of favorite items, okay? And they'll do it just after a hunting. They'll do some hunting where they get some worthless oils. Rather than going to the TT machine and TTing it, they'll come over here and craft it off to make crafting residue, one type of residue. That can then be sold on the market, okay? So I predict, if we just do a little math, oil residue is worth about 101. The residue now is worth about 110. You're going to see a balance of crafting residue somewhere in the 105 range. Okay? But consider what would happen to all the other quote-unquote TT items in the game. All the oils and things like that. All of a sudden, there's going to be a market for that. People are going to buy them just for the sake of crafting, because all of a sudden, if they can craft these simple items here, they know they can actually get a little bit of a return. It'll still be a loss, but they can get something back. They don't have to TT every simple 1 conductor and all the oil residue that comes with this. Okay? The market would stabilize probably around 105 for residue. Mining amps would reduce in price by 5%. But the volume would increase huge. People would start mining again at that. People are going to start affording to mine again. All right, I'd rather sell. I used to make mining amps. That's why I got into crafting, because I was making mining amps to sell and to use. Right now, it's just, you can't make any money off of it. Residue's too high. If I could buy residue at 105 and just fill these things up, I could start using mining amps again and selling them. It is more profitable to sell 10,000 ped worth of amps 5% less than to sell 100 ped worth of amps for a few percentage point markups more. Okay, I really babbled that, but you see my point. All right, the volume will make up the reduced markup for crafters. So crafters will make more money. Miners will mine more and make more. Hunters will start crafting for certain. All right, if they can just, I can make simple 1 conductors after my hunt and get crafting residue, and it's worth 105. To the most hunters would consider that free skilling. I would. So we've got 2 glaring things that need to be changed. All right, We need to add a condition crafting bar to mining. We need to eliminate specific types on residue. And if it shouldn't be too hard to implement. It'll take a little work. It's going to take a version update to make it happen. But we've already got the coding for the condition quality bar. And all this is, again, is just a setting on an algorithm. All right, this is changing a K factor on an algorithm. That's all it's doing. It's changing the loot table. All right, still 90% return. All we're asking is do the same thing with mining. Hell, might even apply to hunting one day. Maybe I'll have a weapon. Huh? Imagine this, folks. Imagine this. A weapon with a slider on it. Ooh. Now, if I want to go hunt Rextalum and go for something big, I can slide that sucker over. Or if I'm just trying to do the iron mission, I want consistent returns, I can slide it back. Give players choice. Let them choose their play style. And they will play. They will deposit. They will play. They will try other professions. Mind Arc will make more money. Crafters will make more money. Miners will make more money. Hunters will make more money. Everybody wins. I think this is where we need to go. I would love to hear some feedback on it, but the obviousness of this to me is just mind blowing. When I really sat and thought about why has my gameplay changed so much, and it's because I've been forced to change it. You know, I'm an adapt kind of guy. I'm going to adapt to what works. And right now, just kind of hunting and hoping to get a good TT return and selling the few markup items I get from hunting. You know, that's working. I'm losing shitloads of ped. But, you know, it beats mining in a system where, you know, I'm mining on Arcadia. Nothing's selling. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody's crafting anything over there. What's the incentive? All right. So these would be two good solutions. All right. Condition bars on mining amps and probably weapons too needs to happen. Let people pick their play styles. Eliminate types of residue and just have one type for the entire game. And you're going to see a totally different economy in this game. It would really start booming. Please comment on a forum. Tell me what you think. I think this works. I think this is a fix. And, you know, if you foresee something that would kind of hold things up, let me know. But we need to let players kind of choose how they want to play, I think. And right now, Minarch's not doing that. They're choosing for us how they want us to play. And people are either going with it, or a lot of them are saying, F it, I'm out of here. I'm done playing. I want to do something else. So something to consider. I think it would be easy to implement and code, not instantaneous, but Minarch already has the technology for the slider. They have the technology to eliminate items and redo blueprints. So it takes some coding, but it can be done. Let me know what you think, and I really appreciate some comments on this video. I think I'm on to something here. Take care, folks.